Hello friends, and not yet friends, welcome back to Mary's Test Kitchen, where we're making some giant vegan milk bread buns for all your gigantic bread needs. Like for making this vegan Korean cream cheese garlic bread. Or to make the most incredible shareable picnic sandwiches. Or don't share, these are your giant vegan milk bread buns and there are no rules. Except start with your flour paste. Combine a half cup of flour with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in your stand mixer bowl. If you don't have a stand mixer, well, I feel for you, I do. It's just gonna get messy, so it's better to accept it now. After stirring that together, add a cup of hot boiling water. Pour slowly and don't splash yourself because we don't want any ER visits, especially at a time like this. Stir well, and this is your modified tangzong, aka flour paste, that is very unattractive but will actually make your bread more attractive than that other loaf down the street. There's a life lesson in there somewhere. This cooked concoction will help the bread stay tender and retain moisture so it becomes springy and wonderful. Now push this up the side of the bowl so it's out of the way and we can continue with this 1 bowl dough. Add 2 cups of warm soy milk or the plant-based milk of your choice. Not too hot or you'll kill the yeast, and we're not about killing on this channel, so use a thermometer to be extra careful. A couple of teaspoons of sugar will help our yeast along. Speaking of yeast, I'm using 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant dry active yeast. If you have the non-instant kind, just go ahead and use the same amount. You're not going to see that much of a difference in this recipe. Your rising times might just be a smidge longer. Mix until the yeast is dissolved and then you can just let it do its thing for 10 minutes. The yeast will start to eat the sugar and generate gas, making it look foamy. And when you disturb it, some bubbles will float up. That's how you know for sure your yeast is alive. If you have some issues with this part, just be sure to check out my blog post linked in the description for troubleshooting yeast in dough. Now that the yeast has bloomed, we can stir everything together until the flour paste is dissolved. Switch to your dough hook and we can add a 1/4 cup of sugar. That is not quite as sweet as some Asian bakery breads, but it's still noticeably sweeter than regular bread. Of course, you can adjust this to how you want it. Remember whose bread this is? Yours, of course. Then add the bulk of the flour, 700 grams or 5 cups of all-purpose flour using the fluff, scoop, and level method of measuring flour. And mix on speed 2 until the dough forms. It will look scraggly or even dry at first, but don't be fooled, this dough will be very wet, and you will be tempted to add more flour, but don't do it, at least not yet. And this is also why it will get messy if you're doing this manually. If you don't know how to knead sticky wet dough and you have to do this manually, there are some good tutorials here on YouTube. Just search how to knead wet dough by hand. I'd show you myself, but my chronic tendinitis won't let me these days, so I have to rely on this machine. After 4 to 6 minutes, your dough should be well combined with no dry bits. Cover it and wait 10 minutes for this to fully hydrate and become a little less sticky. When you come back from your break, add your room temperature vegan butter. Run your mixer again, this time about 5 minutes until the vegan butter disappears into the dough. If you're doing this manually, it's going to be even messier than before. But hey, your hands will become so soft afterwards. So, pros and cons. Dust your hands with flour and you can scrape the dough off the sides. Check the bottom to see that everything is smooth and well combined, no streaky bits. And if it's still sticking to you, do your best. It's fine, really. Cover your bowl with a damp, lint-free kitchen towel and let this rise for an hour or until doubled or tripled in size. When the dough has doubled or tripled in size, you can take it out onto a floured surface. Flour your hands and start to press out all the large pockets of gas. You can see that the dough is much less sticky than before. Even though on humid days, I do find it stays on the sticky side. Either way, it's fine, just use a little flour as a barrier and a little finesse to get your dough into this smooth shape. Now you can divide the dough into 6 to make giant vegan milk bread buns. And to shape each bun, I'm going to knead the edges into the middle, turning as I go. Then flip it over, and using the edges of my hands, I push the edges in more, creating tension at the top. You can also cup your hand over the top and move the dough in a circle, and that makes the bottom stick to the table and then gently also creates top tension, if that makes sense. Then go ahead and continue with all the pieces, placing them on a parchment-lined baking sheet as you go. Remember to give them some room. Just like people, they need space to develop into their best selves. Cover and let them double in size. And just like before, do not let that cloth dry out, otherwise it will stick and then depuff your buns. Add a syrup wash. This one is 1 part corn syrup and 1 part water, and it'll help the buns brown nicely. Finally, you can bake these in your fully preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit until the tops are nicely browned. As always, everyone's oven is a little bit different, so go by the result rather than trying to stick to a time. The tops should be nicely golden brown, and the bottom too. They should sound hollow when tapped. Wait for these to cool before slicing into them and perhaps making some super rich vegan Korean cream cheese garlic bread. Or making some giant picnic sandwiches to share. Or not share. These are your vegan giant milk bread buns. What will you do with them? Let me know in the comments below. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching to the end, my friend. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and share it with anyone who needs big buns in their lives. As always, don't forget the full printable recipe is linked in the description box along with the other recipes I've mentioned. If there's a recipe for it, that is. And if you have any requests, please leave it in the comments with the hashtag recipe request in one word so I can find it later. For more bread recipes, please check out my bread playlist, and if you particularly like Asian bakery stuff like myself, check out my Chinese bakery playlist including curry beefless buns, vegan char siu bao, and more. And until next time, please stay well and safe. Bye for now.